You know, Les Stroud.
Yeah.
So he did that show about
Survivor Man Bigfoot, yeah.
but it just went away.
Bro, that show, I love Les Stroud. I love him. I love Survivor Man. That show was so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He had a guy on the show that is known in the Bigfoot world as being full of shit.
Yeah.
Which is bad. Like, if the Bigfoot world's pretty open-minded. I mean, this is one of the things that I wanted to bring up about that 411 The Hunted thing. There's audio recording that was supposedly taken from the 1970s from Northern California. I want to say Sonoma? I don't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Northern California, but they call them the samurai sounds. The samurai, and it's the weirdest shit ever, man. It's like these guys had this spot that they would go into the mountains and they would hunt every year. And they built this structure out there, and then they brought recording equipment, and they claimed to have recorded sounds of these animals, these Bigfoot, and that these Bigfoot were around them all the time while they were up there. Now, what's crazy about it is the sounds are so weird. It sounds like someone pretending to be Japanese that doesn't actually speak Japanese. Yeah. Have you ever heard it? No. We'll play it for you. It's because it's the weirdest shit. It sounds so strange and so fake, but, you know, like they have these quote-unquote experts that say the human voice is not capable of making sounds remotely similar to this. The range is, which doesn't make any sense if you know who Michael Winslow is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
That guy that guy went on.
He does a woman peeing when she goes to the bathroom.
He does everything.
Yeah, he does everything.
He did Led Zeppelin. He played Whole Lotta Love with his mouth.
Yeah.
And it sounds incredible. But this samurai sound, like there's these loud whoops, whoops, and these guys are like in the foreground, you know, like the guys who are recording, they're trying to communicate with these things. They sound so calm. I mean, if there really was giant fucking 8-foot apes out there wandering around, like, you know, 200-300 yards away from you, screaming and whooping and talking, would you really, and you're in the woods, would you really be so calm? Wouldn't you be freaking the fuck out with these guys? Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I find the right thing because I'm stumbling across some traps.
Oh.
It's like people are fucking around on the internet.
I wish I could remember the gentleman's name.
Well, I think I have it, is all I'm saying. So, Ronald J. Moorhead and Alan Berry, maybe? Is that right?
Yes, Ron Moorhead. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it. The Sierra Mountains. That's what it is.
All right.
And so, it's the weirdest shit ever. Just listen to this. You're going to...
I read what it could be, but we'll listen first.
It could be bullshit.
Yeah,
That's what it could be.
That sounds like all aboard.
Listen to the guy. This is, hold on, stop. This is a terrible version of it. Wow. There's a better version of it where you can hear the guys really clearly. The people talking. I don't know why that's so scratchy. But they're like, they're over by the lake. Like they're talking like that. And they hear this very strange sound.
And they're being calm about it.
Yeah. And these, supposed vocal experts are analyzing it. The human body is incapable of making such sounds. And that area of... You got it?
I don't know. It says HD. I don't
know
if it's
here.
Better.
In for Nightville.
Yeah. They're knocking. That's another thing that Sasquatch do. They knock. That one's weird. Scoot ahead a little bit and hear the samurai sounds. Still sounds terrible. Anyway, these people believe that shit. Les Stroud was balls deep in this.
With that guy.
Deep. Apparently, he had an experience, and I talked to him about his experience. It's pretty interesting. He was in, not with that guy, but he was in Alaska. And apparently he heard some crazy noises, like some monkey sounds outside of in the middle of nowhere. No one was anywhere near. And he said he heard something run away, some bipedal sound of something running away. But again, even though he's an experienced woodsman and he's a guy who's, camped out countless nights in the middle of nowhere and survives in the middle of nowhere and documents it. Like, he's the reason why those survivor shows exist.
Yeah.
Because that guy literally would starve to death and try to eat like bark and whatever the fuck he could for 7. You could see his face like sinking in. He was losing weight. I mean, he really did do that. He did all sorts of different things to try to survive, and then documented how he was doing it and what he would do. But he got obsessed with Bigfoot and then developed that Bigfoot show. And unfortunately, a lot of people lost a lot of faith in him because of that. They're like, no, you're the legit survivor guy, and now you're doing this show, and this is why it's ridiculous. There was one episode of the show where they had this guy who he was with who had video of a Sasquatch, like high-definition video, and it looks so fake.
Yeah.
It's like he's like the Sasquatch is looking at him through the woods, and he's like, there he is. And it's a guy with a mask on.
That's how he goes. He yells out, "I'm a Sasquatch." You're like, oh God, he just yelled that out.
It makes the samurai noise. But this, the guy who had the video is known to be like full of shit. And here he's got this guy on a show, and then he, is this real? You be the judge. Like, yeah, I'm going to say it's not real. It's a guy with a fucking mask on.
I think I did read that guy was very not respected.
Yes.
In that.
By the Bigfoot community.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot community. Again, very open-minded.
Yeah, very just into everything.
This other thing, like they would see trees that would fall over like in certain patterns, and they were convinced that Sasquatch was leaning these trees against each other.
I thought it was to let you know where not to go.
Yeah. They had this idea. I mean, it's all theory, right? This idea.
Yeah, I think I've been following the wrong guy, dude. I believe all the stuff that you like's fake. I'm like, yeah. I only watched that Les Stroud one because of that other guy.
Well, I want it to be real. That's the thing.
I do too.
If someone had a convincing Bigfoot encounter where they caught it on video, where I was like, holy shit, what is that? Like, what is that? Or there was something, but there's nothing. Like, I've talked to a lot of those people when I did this show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything for Sci-Fi, and me and Duncan Trussell actually went camping in the Pacific Northwest. We didn't really camp. We pretended to go camping, and then we went to a hotel.
Yeah.
And then we came back the next morning, like, well, rough night of camping. But we were out there for days trying to look for Sasquatch and talking to people that hunt for Sasquatch. And the one conclusion that we came to is it's a bunch of unfuckable white dudes. Like, that's
just out there.
Just out there camping. Yeah. It's just, but the desire for it to be real is so strong.
It would change. I watched, like that Finding Bigfoot show. I used to always think, because people are like, why is it on? I'm like, I don't know, man, because it's fun to watch. And if they find him, the world is different now. Like, if they come back with Bigfoot, everything's different.
Everything's different.
Everything's getting different with the alien thing.
Yeah.
The fact that they're saying that's like true, you're like, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot to take. If we get, I know that they have the videos and stuff of the aliens, but like if we get up straight up, start talking to one, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, here's something that came out today, Jamie. I'm going to send you this because Sagar and Jetty from Rising on the Hill and I have been going back and forth with this, and I found this today and sent it to him. It's I'll send it to you right now, Jamie. It says, paradigm-shifting UFO tech that alters space-time is operable U.S. Navy Chief Tech Officer. So it's some story that I didn't bother looking into because I saw it when I was on my way out the door, and I was like, what in the fuck is this? Because there's been all these sightings of these things that move in some weird way. Paradigm shifting UFO tech. There's these things that move in this weird way that don't show any propulsion system. And due to censorship, please join us on Telegram. I'm going to say, documents obtained by the drive show the revolutionary technology that has capability to alter space-time may actually be operable, according to the Naval Aviation Enterprise Chief Technology Officer, Dr. James, how do you say that name? Sheehy?
Why
what do you
is
think?
operable in quotes? What is that?
I don't know. Good question. Reflect on why is technology that has the potential to change the entire human experience for the better always used for the defense purposes and military applications? What are the betterments? What about the betterment of humanity? Yeah. I don't know. But it's Christopher Mellon, who's that guy who keeps coming up with all this UFO tech stuff. Can you scroll back up, please?
Someone's just like writing. I was reading through Twitter. It's like a story. It's not really like an article.
Right. Twitter feed of Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Intelligence from 1997 to 2002. Doing so, I came across an interesting post from the Drive regarding documents they received via the Freedom of Information Act regarding a space-time modification weapon developed by the U.S. Navy, which apparently has already gone through experimental testing. This in turn led me to evidence suggesting that other revolutionary type of technology that could no doubt be used to change the world for the better, blah, 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 was already operable. Yeah, I don't know. But this is what... if you pay attention to the UFO world, do you pay attention to that shit at all?
Not like actively.
There's a guy named Bob Lazar. And
I do know that from because you talked to him.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. Because you're like, I mean, are you crazy? Are you full of shit? Or is this real?
Yeah.
Because if it is real,
it's wild.
This thing is a special effect created. A guy who was a special effect artist. Do you remember his name, Jamie, who made this thing for us? This gentleman. He's got a... Designs by Perry at Instagram, and he created this thing, and this is like a scale model of what Bob Lazar supposedly worked on. He was hired by the United States military to work at Area S4, which is part of the Area 51, like it's Area 51 Site S4, Site 4 was this place where he allegedly worked to back engineer these spaceships. And the way these things moved around was exactly how this Christopher Mellon guy, or this article rather, that quoted him as describing, that they used some sort of gravity, space-time bending technology. So they didn't use a propulsion system like a rocket, shoots flame out the back. They bent time in front of them and just would shoot instantaneously to wherever the fuck they wanted to go.
So you'd be like instantly be able to go.
Instantly. What's fucked is that there was an instance off of the coast of San Diego in 2004 where a Navy pilot by the name of Commander David Fravor, who I've also had on the show, experienced this thing that they call the Tic Tac UFO. They tracked it with radar. They tracked it with the camera systems on their plane, and they even have video footage of this thing. It went from 80,000 feet above sea level to 1 in a second.
Wow.
That's the amount of time that it takes radar to do the blip, 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 blip. So in that time, it traveled 80,000 feet. They have no idea how the fuck it did that. It shows no propulsion, heat signature. They took video footage of this thing, and it went from there. It took off where they couldn't even follow it with their eye, just disappeared to the predetermined destination where they were supposed to coordinate later. So it's like it's reading their tracking systems or reading where they were going. And the people that worked on the aircraft carrier were telling the fighter pilot, like, we've been seeing these things over, we see them like every couple of weeks. And we have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And they just say, well, there it is. What are we going to do about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I like to picture like an alien in that Tic Tac. He's like, "Whoa, slow it down, dude. You're kind of crazy right now." Like he's having a bad day in there because he's got to be having just a day. Whoever's in there, some kind of day, maybe having a day. It's a lot to. Yeah, I don't know. You think it's like a lot to just tell people? Like if they had to be like to tell like just Earth, all of us humans on Earth, to like wrap our head around what would happen.
I think, what do you say if that's all you know? Like, if you are the military and all you know is that something can do these things, something can move at this speed. You know, the New York Times had a front page article about it a couple of years ago. And basically they're saying, hey, you know, there are videos of things moving in a way that we don't understand, that aren't exhibiting a heat signature that indicates a propulsion system, and we don't know what it is. And this is, and then there's the COVID-19 bill that just got passed, and one of the provisions in the COVID-19 bill is that they have 180 days to release all the information they have about UFOs.
That's a lot, you know.
But I don't know if they're going to do anything with. I think they're going to do nothing.
That's funny
with that.
that it's in this.
They go, yeah, we don't have
COVID-19
anything.
bill.
Yeah,
like that's
a lot of weird shit was in the COVID-19 bill, like foreign aid. There's a lot of foreign aid to Pakistan, aid to all these countries. It's like people just to get it passed. They're like, okay, we'll say yes, but I want you to do a little favor for me and put this in the bill.
Yeah,
and there's just shows you how greasy politicians are.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But that's allegedly what all that UFO technology is.
Wow.
You were telling me you were a Bigfoot guy?
Big Bigfoot guy.
Tell me about this.
Here's the problem.
Where you grew up in an area.
Yeah.
You're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
That's Bigfoot country.
That is. I think that's the only reason I'm so into it.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing you got to know about talking about me. It's not ever funny. And it's something I like so much that it ends up me giving you the same arguments you've heard a billion times.
Yes.
Oh, it's Gigantopithecus, came over the Asian plain, it's a bipedal hominid, it's just, and then at the end, and everyone my friends have experienced it, Harlan Williams just experienced it when I was on his podcast. Anytime I talk about Bigfoot, it ends up with me just going, please, Joe, can you just say it's maybe a possibility? Like, that's what it always ends up being.
Yeah.
You said it's. I remember you one time going, "There's nothing out there." Yeah, didn't you say that about Bigfoot?
Hunters don't see it. That's why I don't believe in it.
Some hunters do.
No, not many.
People that see it are usually loggers, hunters, natives, people that are out in the woods.
There's another problem. Another problem is dusk. You see things at dusk or at dawn. It's very confusing. Mm-hmm. Bears walk on two legs all the time. I have personally watched bears walk on two legs, and if I didn't know any better, and if it was a dark environment, like it was dusk, you barely can see, I would think it's Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah. But I do think Bigfoot existed. Yeah. There's some insane number of Native American words for Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch is just one of them. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of Native American words for this one animal that's fake, but all the other words they have are for real animals. They don't have a bunch of dragons. They don't have like mythical creatures in Native American mythology, but they do have this one giant man thing that definitely existed.
At some point.
At 100%, Gigantopithecus was a real animal. It was 8 to 10 feet tall, bipedal hominid. Yep. It was a huge gorilla-looking primate that died off somewhere around 100,000 years ago, but they don't know really
100,000?
for sure. Yeah, but they don't know for sure. The thing about it is it's like, if you only find fossils from 100,000 years ago, you could assume that that this animal at least lived then. But you don't know when it went extinct.
Right.
You might find some new fossil like 10 years from now. They might find some new site. And wait a minute, these are 20,000 years old, or these are 30,000 years old, or these are 50,000 years old. But either way, anatomically identical human beings have been around for 500,000 plus years, maybe even more. So, or similar human beings. So then we definitely interacted with them.
Yeah.
Or they were around when we were around.
I think they're still around. I think there's hundreds, maybe thousands of them. That's what I believe. I think they're in caves or something. Or maybe it's...
You know what the problem with that is?
What?
They're too big. The amount of food that they would need to eat, you'd have to be grazing all day long. See, if you're Bigfoot...
Posted in the Journal of Zoology this month.
If it's there, could it be a bear?
They're saying it's black bear, American black bear.
Yeah, American black bear that stands up.
But even little kids
Yeah.
would know the difference between a monkey and a bear.
No. First of all, let me tell you something. If you're in the woods and you're in a heightened state because you're looking around, you don't know what's out there, it's all thick woods, it's weird. Woods are weird.
Yeah.
And you see something, you could trick your brain. I saw a squirrel, and for like 2 or 3 seconds, I thought it was a wolf.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
not a
real.
wolf.
That's real
It's like,
between here.
I'm seeing something moving in between thick trees, and I see gray fur. I'm like, oh my God, is that a wolf?
Yeah.
Because there's wolves out there.
Right.
I'm in Canada. I'm like, oh no, it's a fucking squirrel. What the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Shoot it.
Yeah. It's like people see what they want to see.
Yeah.
And the problem is you get something into someone's head, a mythological thing, whether it's a UFO or whether it's Bigfoot. I think the world is way more slippery than we like to think. And I think there's states of consciousness that people can achieve during high anxiety levels, definitely during the use of psychedelic drugs.
Yes.
Sometimes during weird states in their life, like near-death experiences, loss of a loved one, extreme emotion, a lot going on, a lot of anxiety and fear, like you would have if you're in the woods.
Sure.
And then you
edge.
see a light across the sky. It might have been just a meteorite.
Right.
But you're in the wrong headspace to
Yeah.
see that meteorite. And you just freak. You just freak.
Yeah.
And maybe for a brief moment, you can see something that's been there all along.
You know how defeated I am right now. I just want you to tell me, like, dude, there's some crazy stuff out there.
I've interviewed a lot of Bigfoot people.
Yeah.
I had one joke I used to do about Bigfoot. Here's what you don't find when you go looking for Bigfoot. Black people. You're more likely to find Bigfoot than you are black people looking for Bigfoot.
Not out there.
It's a bunch of unfuckable white guys out camping. That's like
That is the thing.
It's a community of people that want to believe something that there's zero evidence for, and they're fucking locked in.
Yeah, they're hitting a tree with a stick, going like, "We're gonna wait for a knockback," and it's different Bigfoot researchers hitting a different tree, talking back to them.
Yeah, it's like if you go to public land elk hunting, there's a bunch of people elk calling. You think, I heard an elk. It's a dude with a
another
tube.
guy. Elk, two men doing elk calls.
Exactly, to each other.
Across a ridge.
That literally happens.
I bet.
It does, 100%. It's one of those things where I wish it was real. I
Me
wish
too.
Bigfoot was real. Bobcat Goldthwait believes.
Yeah, he loves it.
He's all in. Did you ever watch Willow Creek?
I didn't piss me off because at the end it turns out to be, I'm gonna spoil the Willow Creek, but at the end it's just a bunch of like hillbillies out there killing and blaming it on Bigfoot. Basically, that's like the end is
Wait a
like
minute. Which one are you talking about?
You don't really.
Bobcat
There's no
Goldthwait's
Bigfoot
movie?
I think that's what the end is. That like it's just some crazy people that live in the woods. It's not really a Bigfoot.
Is that true?
I think that's the end of Willow Creek.
I don't remember how it ends.
Because they kind of have this one kind of like Blair Witch like shot, and it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of mountain people, which is the scariest thing you'll find in the woods. People.
Well, that's that.
People that want to be off that grid. People
There's that documentary Sasquatch. Did you ever see that? It's like a documentary series.
Yeah, and it turns out just to be the cartel.
Yeah,
Not the cartel, but like weed people.
Weed people killing other.
Blaming it on a Bigfoot, framing
Yeah.
it to look like a Bigfoot's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they killed somebody, and apparently when marijuana was, when they were growing it up there, these hippies started arming themselves.
Yeah.
And then they had rival gang wars with people that would come in and try to steal their crop. And
Sure.
so they started shooting at each other and killing each other. And
Yeah.
that's what that's all about.
Or also like, some cute girl that's like, oh, I'm going to clip weed all summer and make $5,000 and hang out with other potheads who you don't realize how terrible that job is.
Well, you're involved
go
in
missing.
an illegal business.
Yeah.
And the cartel's in that business. Like, I had a friend who found a cartel grow operation on a ranch. Yeah, they were
scary.
He works on a ranch in California, and he was doing his thing out on the ranch, and he found some water piping. And he followed the water piping, and it was pretty considerable distance. And they found this grow op. So this guy had diverted water, or many guys. They didn't see the humans that did it. They took their shit, and then they never caught the guys, I don't think. But they would set up these camps in, they would go to, national forests. Apparently it's big in Northern California, where they go deep, deep, deep in the woods. They backpack in, and then they have a massive grow op on public land.
Yeah.
And they just get it till the time it's ready to harvest, and then they get out of there. But if someone interrupts that, if they get in the middle of that, they'll kill them.
Right.
Like, these are cartel guys.
Yeah.
So my friend John Norris, he's been on the podcast before. He was a game warden, and he found a creek that had been redirected, and he thought maybe a farmer had did this. What's going on? Maybe someone put an illegal dam on this. They follow it, and they find this crazy grow op with the cartel and guns, and so he winds up, instead of just being a game warden, now all of a sudden he's got a tactical team with attack dogs.
Crazy.
And they're running in fully armed with flak jackets on, having gunfights with the
Yeah.
cartel in the woods over weed.
Yeah. I will say that that's like the most frustrating part about the Bigfoot subject is you got guys like who really like, no, I think an ape could, like a pod of apes could like live out here and this thing. And so you'll start to, guys like me will be like, yeah, this makes good sense. And then they'll get like a Native American to talk about it. And he'll be like, it's the magic man of the woods. And you're like, no. And they're like, he disappears. He flies. He can stop the rain. And you go, this is, gosh dang it. We were making real good ground here, making arguments for it to be an ape.
I think the Native Americans are right. I think that's what it is.
Some
I think
sort of paranormal woods thing?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's like, listen, if let's imagine that states of consciousness can interface with other things that are around us all the time that we don't necessarily see. Now, we know that's true if you take psychedelics, and we know that psychedelics are produced in the brain. I can imagine a moment where you are in such a state that you could see something that you would not be able to see under normal conditions. It's not outside the realm of possibility. I'm not married to it, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. Now, if that is what we're seeing with UFOs, if what we're seeing is our future, if what we're seeing with those beings is the eventual shape that human beings will take, as evolution progresses, we become these genderless, little spindly things with giant heads. Yeah, flying spaceships with our minds. That kind of makes sense to me. If that makes sense, why wouldn't I be able to also see what we used to be or what we could have been or what other things used to live with us? And maybe it's almost like a ghost. Almost like a memory that you can access of a different timeline, a different dimension where this thing does exist. And that's why it's so elusive and it comes and goes, because it's not a real material thing. It's a construct of the human psyche. But these people that are seeing it, like they might even literally be seeing footprints. It might literally leave footprints. It might exist for brief moments.
Makes sense. Passing in and out of this dimension kind of thing?
There's so many wacky stories about it. So then you have to apply the wacky stories to human psychology and say, okay, people are in a heightened state. They're in the woods. They're alone. They're nervous. There's cats out there and fucking bears. So you're kind of freaking out already. So you're in this like weird mind state already where it seems like more things are possible out there because there's no one to help you.
Right.
There's no city. There's no hospital.
Can't call the cops on a Bigfoot.
You got no fucking cell phone signal, and you're out there alone. Like, there's so many possibilities. It's terrifying. And that, to me, makes sense. Like, if there's a mindset that can be achieved, it's a mind state that can be achieved where you interact with things that aren't there all the time, like UFOs.
Right.
That would be when it would happen.
Right. Well, there's tons of like interesting stories that you'll just read about, like a thing just walking behind the tree, and it's not. But if it was a massive, 10-foot thing, you know, you'd probably be able to see it come out on the other side of that tree, and you see a lot of those kind of. Or I read a lot of those kind of stories, and I'm like, I don't know what the heck that.
Yeah, it could be that, but it could also be black bears. It could be they're just seeing things because they're freaking out.
Yeah.
Bears freak you out, man. You see a bear in the wild, it freaks you out. And if you see a bear in between trees, you can just convince yourself that it's something, and then your brain plays tricks on you. The memory is a slippery bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Especially under heightened circumstances like that, like in the woods. Your memory's weird.
And it's more exciting to believe that it's real. So that's what you want to, you know, that's my biggest, I think what I'm holding on to so much is that, like, I think it's so boring if we just know all the stuff on our planet.
I don't think we do.
But that's my point. It's way more exciting to think, there's Bigfoots and there's...
Yeah, pterodactyls is one of my favorites.
Wolfman or Dogman or Mothman or any of these kind of like exciting things. I want to believe that.
Well, you know about that Hobbit man that they found on that island of Flores?
No.
No?
A Hobbit man.
Good. Yeah, this is a good one for you. This is a thing that absolutely lived alongside people. And I think they don't know the timeline of this fucker either. But they think it might have been as recently as like 50,000, 30,000 years ago. And they were little tiny people, 3 foot tall, like almost like ape-like creatures. That's what they looked like.
Oh, yeah, see? Like a little baby Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, like little hobbits, man. And they lived on this island. And they were like a different branch of the human chain that lived alongside Homo sapiens.
Yeah, you see that? You just think you see a juvenile Bigfoot or something.
Yeah. Well, there's people that have cited these things in other parts of the world still to this day. They still claim that they exist. It looks fake.
Do you think the Gimlin footage is real?
Patterson Gimlin footage? 100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah. It looks fake.
Yeah.
Everything that looks fake is fake.
Is it a person in a suit?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a guy walking.
It's a guy in a suit?
Yeah, 100%. Although I did get really high once, and I was convinced that it was really Bigfoot, and I was being an asshole all this time. I was like, oh my God, what if that really is Bigfoot? I've just been a dick. Because these hardcore Bigfoot believers, that's their footage. The Patterson, but there's so many problems with that. First of all, Roger Patterson literally got arrested for writing a bad check to pay for the camera that he used to film that. They went there specifically to film it. The guy, Bob Hieronymus, who says he was Bigfoot, when you see him walk, he's this big old gangly cowboy looking dude. When you see him walk, he walks exactly like that Bigfoot thing.
You think it was him?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah. They even have a receipt from a fucking gorilla suit that they bought. Have you ever seen him walking side by side? Find a video of Bob Hieronymus walking side by side with the original Patterson footage. So they show the Bigfoot walking and then Bob walking, and you're like, oh. Like, I mean, because he looked like a Bigfoot. The guy was a fucking, there's dudes, big old cowboy looking dudes, big old fucking farm country strong dudes.
Yeah. They
look like apish. They're just big old fuckers. And this guy was one of those guys. And you see him walking, and he walks right, they superimpose it. They put side by side, rather. And when they do it, you go, oh, yeah, definitely.
What a disappointment.
Do you want to believe that it's real?
No, I don't want to believe.
Did you ever believe it was real?
When I was 8, yeah.
And when you're 9, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but my God, there's people to this day, those hardcore Bigfoot people are cult members. They really are. They decide to shut off a part of their brain that critically looks at information.
Aren't there any eyewitnesses who strike you as credible? I was talking to Les Stroud about this. Do you know Les? I was talking to Les once about this, I think.
Yeah, Les, he's a very credible guy in terms of like survival tactics. He knows a lot about that. But he didn't see one with his own eyes. He heard something, and he heard noises that sounded chimpanzee-like. Bears make those noises all the time. I've seen bears make those. I've watched bears make those noises. They make them particularly when they're fighting with each other. They sound very much like gorillas. They do that all the time. So if you were alone in the woods and you heard that and you heard smashing and thumping around, you're like, oh my God, there's a gorilla out there. Oh my God, there's some kind of a primate out there. There have been people that have spotted things that are very eerily similar to what you would think is a large bipedal ape. The problem is a lot of these places are heavily wooded and populated by bears, and bears walk on 2 legs all the time. So there's Bob, and there's the Bigfoot, right? I mean, case closed, right?
I never saw that.
I mean, look at that dude. Look, isn't he like what I said? Big old country dude?
Yeah.
I mean, we see that guy walking, and you imagine him with a fucking gorilla suit on. It doesn't even look good. It looks like shit. And it's just too convenient. All of it's too convenient. That the fact that the guy went looking for it and found it and filmed it, and the whole thing's corny. It's corny.
Data matters.
Data does matter, and there's no real data in terms of genetics. There's been a lot of like goofy talk that they found like some kind of human DNA and samples of hair. The problem with that is all that DNA's been contaminated. I actually talked to an actual biologist about this, and we did an episode of Joe Rogan Questions Everything for the Sci-Fi Channel on Bigfoot. We hung around with Bigfoot hunters. Duncan and I went out with them and looking for Bigfoot and camping with them and everything. And it's people that are just looking for something. I think at one point in time it was real. I think almost certainly at one point in time human beings did interact with Gigantopithecus. It was a real animal. You know about that? Mm-hmm. And Gigantopithecus matches exactly like what people talk about when they talk about Sasquatch. It looks exactly like that. An enormous bipedal hominid that was, maybe more than 8 feet tall. And they found out about this thing by accident when a guy was looking in an apothecary shop in China, and he found gigantic teeth that were clearly primate teeth. He's like, where'd you find these? And they go there and they go to the site and they dig out jaw bones that indicate it was bipedal. And so now they know it's a real thing that existed. And I think they date that to, when do they date? I think they date that to 100,000 years ago. When did they date Gigantopithecus to?
Wikipedia says roughly 2 million to 350,000 years.
350,000. I thought it was closer. I thought it was closer to us.
That's just what Wikipedia says. I have to see if there's other disputes or something.
Yeah, see if because I'd read that the carbon date that they did on these teeth. I think they said that was somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 and something thousand years ago. So that would put it, with semi-modern looking human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So the question
Very
is
modern,
right? And then the question is how long did it survive? Like, just because you find something, say if you find one that's 200,000 years old, doesn't mean that it didn't exist 100,000 years ago or even 50,000 years ago. Like, when was the last one? When did they die off? And when did humans encounter them? And if you look at their range, like if they found them in Asia and then you look at the Bering landmass and you look at where does it drop off? Well, it drops off in the Pacific Northwest. Like, that's like literally goes down Alaska, makes its way down the coast, dense forest, which is where a thing like that. So proteins extracted from a roughly 1.9 million year old tooth of the aptly named Gigantopithecus is a close relative to modern orangutans. So protein comparisons amongst living fossil apes suggest that Gigantopithecus and orangutan forerunners diverged from a common ancestor between 10 and 12 million years ago.
Jeez.
But when did it die off?
It's the same thing. It says they hadn't found anything from the
300,000
late
ago.
Pleistocene era. They only have this from the early part of it.
Okay, so it said the fossils date from around 2 million to almost 300,000 years ago. The sizes of individual teeth and jaws indicate that it weighed between 200 and 300 kilograms. That's a big fucker. Interesting. So that was Bigfoot. So if humans did make it to the point where we had language and the ability to communicate ideas, they probably would communicate about all these creatures that they encountered, and that would be one of them.
Yeah.
But the actual Patterson footage Bigfoot, that's horseshit. There's just too many hunters out there, too many hikers
Who would have seen something?
Yeah, they don't see anything.
Yeah. And you personally never heard or experienced anything?
No. Like a Bigfoot thing?
Yeah.
You don't think I would say that first? That'd be the first thing
Maybe you're
I would
holding
say.
out, Joe.
No. Bummed out. I probably was hoping it was a UFO.
Oh, I know.
Please
Like, I got
let
it.
it be a
I
UFO.
got one.
I'm still
I got
waiting.
my phone.
Joe
out.
Rogan. He's like, Joe Rogan's going to have me on
This
to talk
is
about
gonna
this.
be great. Well, we were at 35,000 feet.
That's too obvious, though. It's too obvious. Yeah, it was too rudimentary
I always
technology.
wonder about what those things are that people keep spotting. I mean, we don't really totally know about their capabilities.
As you know, I go quite deep on this.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I mean,
Do you go deep on it at all, Crystal, or do you just roll your eyes when you start
She
talking
indulges me.
UFOs?
I don't roll my eyes.
She just grabbed her drink.
I'm
Yes,
not-
that's an instinct.
I don't roll my eyes. It's not like, I don't go deep the way he does. I find it interesting. I find it question mark, but I can't say I've gone deep down the rabbit hole in this.
There's
the
more
way that
important
he
things
has.
to concentrate on in the
I
moment.
wouldn't say that. I just say for whatever reason,
See, I
it's
don't
not my
know,
thing
though.
that I'm super fascinated
the
by.
mystery of alien life.
Do you
That's the
think
most
that
interesting thing
is
there is.
a more male-oriented thing?
Definitely possible.
You think so?
Here's the thing.
Why
Out
do you
of
think so?
all the people that I've interviewed that are UFO experts,
Yeah,
they're all
all
men.
dudes.
Yeah.
All Sasquatch experts, all men.
Huh.
I
So
have a
what do
joke
you?
about Sasquatch experts that I think they're all unfuckable white dudes. This is
Hey,
th-
Les
this
Stroud
the-
is a fucking gem, okay?
this
Don't
is
say that about
the
him.
last thing
Yeah.
you're gonna find
Yeah.
when you go looking for Bigfoot. Black people. You're more likely to find Bigfoot than you are black people looking for Bigfoot.
I've
It's like
got-
a bit I had. I go, it's all unfuckable white dudes.
There's like those shows of Bigfoot.
Okay.
Black people aren't buying it. They're like,
They're like, we
they're
got
like,
real
what-
shit going on
where
in our
the
lives.
fuck
We don't
did you
need.
guys get excited about this?
It is some white guy shit.
It's
so true.
unfuckable white guys.
My friend Essie Cup, who we had on the screen
Yes.
earlier, I wouldn't say she's a Sasquatch expert, but she's super into them.
Of course.
So it's a little tiny fly in the ointment of your theory here.
I don't think it's fair to put Sasquatch and UFO in the same category.
It 100% is. Because I hope they're both real.
Don't.
I hope they're both real.
I just think there's a lot more evidence on the UFO side. I mean,
Yes, there is. But there's also evidence that there was an animal that was a bipedal hominid that lived alongside of human beings.
Oh, interesting.
An
I actually hadn't
enormous
looked into
one.
this.
An
Yeah.
enormous one. It's called Gigantopithecus. It's absolutely real.
In the Pacific
And
Northwest?
There was it was in Asia, and this was during the time before the Ice Age when the Bering Land Bridge was available.
Right.
There was an animal that they discovered in an apothecary shop in China, and I believe it was in the 1920s. An anthropologist was there, and he found these enormous primate teeth. I might be fucking this up. I don't think I am, though. He found these enormous primate teeth, and he was like, what the fuck is this? And where'd you get this? And it led to an investigation. They found the site where these things were recovered, and they found more. And they found jaw bones that would indicate that this animal is bipedal, which means it stood up on two legs, and it was fucking enormous. Like 8 foot tall, gorilla-like, orangutan-like creature that existed alongside human beings.
Okay, but we don't know exactly, like, when did the
We
teeth
know
or
for a
jawbone or whatever
fact that
date
they
to?
existed 100,000 years ago
Okay.
because of these bones. But that doesn't mean they didn't exist 50,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago.
Right.
We don't know. And if they did exist 10,000 years ago, it makes sense why the Native Americans would have many, many names for these creatures. And they didn't really have mythical creatures. That's what a Gigantopithecus would have looked like.
Jesus, wow.
So it was an
That's so
enormous
crazy.
a great ape that lived alongside us and absolutely 100,000 years ago. And then they found many other creatures that were really interesting that we didn't know existed that absolutely lived alongside human beings. One of them was the Hobbit man from the island of Flores.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's
That one I knew about.
Homo floresiensis, I think.
That was
it's called.
Indonesia, I believe.
Yes.
Right.
Didn't they have some local lore also about that? Like the elders had some connectivity to when like that species existed alongside of them?
Yes, they call it the orang pendek. And by the way, Hawaii has a similar legend. I talked to a gentleman in Hawaii when I was there recently, and he was just an old timer. He was great, and he was telling me all the different names that the native Hawaiians have for things, and he was explaining how there was a creature that supposedly lived when the first people got here. And it was a small, hairy, ape-like creature that is similar to what's been spotted in Vietnam and in other parts of the world in these jungle areas. They call it the orang pendek, and it's identical to this hobbit person. So when they existed, who knows? They might have existed 500 years ago or 100 years ago or 50 years ago. We don't fucking know. But we do know that there were a bunch of different kinds of ape-like creatures that existed alongside of us, and they think that these Homo floresiensis were really like close to human. They were like on a branch, like they used tools, they hunted, they worked together, and they might have communicated. They might have had a language. Like we don't know.
See,
so
this
this
is
is-
why I think it all connects to UFOs, where it's like I can't imagine but stepping back and dreaming of like Earth. We don't even know what it looked like 2,500 BC.
Right.
Beyond that, we have no idea. That's when written history begins. You've talked a lot with Graham Hancock, his Ancient Apocalypse series, and the reason why I think there's a connectivity is like, what's possible, man?
Yeah.
That's with the UFO thing. I'm like, and if there's ancient life here or multiple forms of alien life or, you know, some connectivity between that or even past contact of all this, it's like our entire understanding of the world is just completely wrong. And I just find that so seductive, I guess, like that idea. Maybe that's foolish and maybe that's, you know, part like a male thing like you're talking about, but there's enough there that we can't help but be interested. We're like, what's happening?
You just persuaded Sagar he was just shitting on the Sasquatch people,
Yeah.
and now he's like
Well,
all
it
in.
definitely
I'm talking more
existed.
about Homo floresiensis and the idea that there was a human
Sasquatch-
civilization like a million years ago.
The Sasquatch is more likely because it definitely existed. Like they know that within the time that human beings were alive, we're going to have stories about this creature. Now, whether or not those stories persist long after the creature is extinct and people pretend they see it when they're really just seeing black bears that are walking upright, which they
Right.
do all the time. I've seen black bears walk upright. And if black bears have a hurt paw, there was a black bear, a famous black bear in New Jersey, that had a hurt, it very badly damaged front paw, so it would walk on its rear legs. It would walk upright like a 7-foot tall animal.
That's crazy.
Which is just like, if you saw it through the trees, you'd be like, oh my God, it's a giant
I saw
ape.
one in Glacier National.
Yeah, Jersey's an unusual place. Jersey has more black bears per capita than any state in the United States.
I don't know if that's a fact, but I believe you because I've seen them myself.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
You've seen bears on your property.
Not on my property, but when I used to stay with my aunt in the Poconos, the bears used to come in her backyard because there was like a stream in the backyard, and they would like come in there and just grab fish out of the stream.
They killed a kid. One bear killed a kid a couple of years ago from one of the colleges. What college was it? The one near New Brunswick? What was it? Rutgers.
And you never seen the video in Jersey of the walking bear, the bear that would walk on 2 feet through people's backyard?
Yeah, it had a bad front paw.
Never saw that?
No.
Hell yeah. That shit happens.
There it is. Look at it. Look at the video. The bear walking around.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
See, that's
Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's you know who believes in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
You have a believer in the studio right now.
Who believes in Bigfoot? Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
No, 100% believes in
I mean, listen, but you know why I believe in Bigfoot? Because of shit like mooses. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. If you see something, if you see a fucking species like a moose, you're like, my God, why would you not believe? Look at that shit.
Yeah.
At some point in life, somebody was trying to explain that to somebody else, and he was like, man, get the fuck out of here.
right now
True.
when he's trying to explain it to me.
Look at the size of that goddamn
Yeah, that's
thing.
insane
Those
and
things are
elegant.
so
Look at those
big.
legs. Work.
They'll fuck you up too. Those are the rare deer species that will fucking
They're
stomp you
aggressive.
to death. Yeah, they're used to dealing with wolves. If they think you're a threat, they just run up on you and stomp you to death.
Why don't you believe in Bigfoot?
Well, I actually did a television show where I went hunting for them.
You were going to
do
do
it
it
on Finding Bigfoot.
No.
Which
I
one?
did a show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything. We spent a whole week in the Pacific Northwest talking to Bigfoot hunters.
Yeah.
We camped out there. Me and Duncan Trussell went and
Shout to
interviewed
Duncan.
scientists and interviewed all these different archaeologists, all these different people that didn't believe and did believe. It was a real animal at one point in time.
Yes, I don't think it exists now. I think it existed. It's just a primate in the fucking woods.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You don't think it existed?
Oh, I thought you
no.
believed that it exists now.
I did up to a certain point, but I was like, in this era with all of the cameras and everything else, somebody
Yeah.
would have caught one.
Okay,
Right.
good.
Yeah.
I was a little worried.
No.
yeah.
I don't believe in it now.
Well, you know,
I believe it existed at some point, but I don't believe it exists
Let
anymore.
me tell
Yeah.
you something. Charlemagne has this amazing power to manifest shit. Okay? So I see how it could lend itself when you believe something so much it becomes real.
Right.
Right? I could see how it manifests itself into things like Bigfoot.
On that show, I tell a joke about Bigfoot. I never saw Bigfoot, but when we were on training. You do these training where you go make maps and all this shit, and we heard him.
You heard Bigfoot?
Heard Bigfoot. I heard him.
What does it sound like?
I could still do that. He does that, but everything you see on them stupid TV shows, that happened. He threw a rock. All the animals started running, and the Marine, because he's the guy who knows where the markers are, but we didn't know where the markers were. He's the one who says, "Hey, we're out of perimeter. Have you guys ever heard of Bigfoot?" Blah 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 blah. He tells us he was Native American, but he just said that, and
Where were you guys? What state?
like Nova Scotia,
Nova Scotia.
where they do cold weather training. Yeah, and you have to make your own maps.
You sure they weren't fucking with you?
I'm pretty sure. Who threw that rock?
Somebody that was fucking with you?
No. How did
No?
Why you fuck with the animals too? All the animals ran too. Remember
Yeah.
how you said they know how to get away? All these fuckers just did a little mass exodus, and it's a all.
I'm very skeptical of Bigfoot.
I've never seen him, but I never heard nothing like that either.
So what if you had a? Did it sound like?
It just sounded. It was.
What was it similar to?
You ever hear Luther Vandross sing live? Like when you hear him on a record, it's one thing, but when you hear him live, he's ooh, like that. He didn't sound like that, but it was the same
Power,
like hair on the back of your neck, kind of.
Really?
What the fuck?
Well, bears do that sometimes. Bears, especially when what time of the year was it?
It was winter. Because you listen to the wind. It's like it sounds like a train coming. You have to determine where the wind is coming from and get on a tree or something because a lot of the icicles are coming like darts.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that night we were I was joking around about it and everything. And one of the officers says, this is a facility and, we don't, heard you're a comedian. We don't make, basically you can't go on stage and go, hey, guess where I was at? So I was just, in the joke, I'm just camping and we.
I see.
Yeah. But nobody's in the military. But and in the joke, I actually do see Bigfoot. It's a funny bit.
So tell me, how did it happen? What was going on? What were the circumstances?
We were
lay it out for me.
Okay, you have you get because it's cold and it's raining, and so we like in a little circle. And it's kind of raining, kind of sleeting, and we're talking about we're gonna do this and do that because we're comparing shit and everybody's fucking up. We found our third marker first, and it's supposed to be like a 2 or 3 day thing, right? And the good teams, like you do it in the classroom for a couple of days, and then a team goes out, team come back, team goes out, and some of the guys who weren't as good as us in the classroom were coming right back in 2 days. They just spent one night and came back. Shit, man, we was on our third day, dog. What? And then our first marker was the third marker, but he couldn't help us. But then after we heard that, he's like, "Look, you guys fucked up." So because we all.
So how long did it take in total?
We left right after that, dog. He told us he didn't want to be there the morning we wanted to be there. So yeah, it's a lot of fudging going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he said, "Yeah, good enough."
It's good enough. Yeah.
So you guys were out there and explain to me what happened and who was telling you that it's Bigfoot.
Well, we all heard it. Like
right.
Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And then everything's running, deer, and everything's just like scurrying. But we heard the, how you throw a stick through the branches. You just throw it's just like a big something just flew through the trees, and then that's when he's kind of, and of course we're like, "Fuck out of here,"
right?
But it was just too weird. And then he was like, "Yeah, you guys missed your other markers. I might know where they are." So we just kind of went and got on our markers and went back to the base. Because we're out, dude. We're out like 20 miles. Out. You have to make
out there with Bigfoot.
Well, I wasn't really worried about Bigfoot because according to that dude, Bigfoot don't bother you. I was worried about the other animals.
So that dude's seen Bigfoot before?
I don't know if he's seen him before, but he just said he don't. But he just lets you know when you've gone too far in the woods.
Really?
Like nobody ever says that he grabs you and do not. He just does warning things, just like on those stupid TV shows. You ever watch those shows?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we heard the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And
that's been the least successful show ever.
Yes. But
they've been trying to find Bigfoot for like 8 seasons.
I've spent whole day on the road. Like if I'm in my hotel, I've spent the whole day with, oh shit, they about to get it. Oh shit. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm like, it's 5 o'clock.
They got me again.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, man, I gotta go get something to eat.
Yeah, those aren't so successful.
Yeah.
I mean, the best they get is like a sound.
Yeah, that's it.
But
that's all I got.
Reality shows, man, they're not really reality. They fuck around. They fuck around with editing. I was on one of those.
What do you do the naked one?
A naked one? Like
the naked
and Confused?
Naked and what's it called?
Afraid.
Naked and Afraid. I did what you man. You know how about I had a uniform on and we all got bugs.
Yeah.
So
naked.
I know.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The suffering.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if how bad can you get fucked up and how quickly can they get you to a hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah. You become you don't trust in the way you view things anymore. You're boxed in. It's very dangerous to be committed to something you know is not true.
It also shows a level of intelligence too, because when you got these geniuses who spent their entire lives doing this stuff in astrophysics, you're telling me that they're part of this scheme too, and they believe that it's
This is 100% of the problem. 100%. It's adopting an idea too soon. That's 100% of the idea. Because once you adopt that idea and then you hang on to it, now you're fucked. Like Bigfoot, man. Bigfoot was a big one for me. I was convinced that
really?
Bigfoot was real.
What's wrong with you? How long ago was this?
A couple weeks
not
ago.
Not when I'd known you.
Yeah, man. When I did this TV show, that's when I totally let it go. I'd kind of let it go before then, but Duncan and I actually went to the Pacific Northwest, and we went to hang out with like real Bigfoot experts that were searching for Bigfoot all the time.
When you say real Bigfoot experts, you mean con artists?
No, it's not that.
Dumbasses.
The way I described them is unfuckable white dudes
who have nothing to do.
They're just a bunch of fellows. We decided to call ourselves a rap band. We're gonna call ourselves UFWD, unfuckable white dudes.
And you didn't find anything
out there in the Pacific
You didn't
Northwest.
find shit.
We found camp spots, a lot of spent shells and beer cans laying around.
You're better than that, Joe.
No, this is what I found out. People want to believe in things, and once you want to believe in something, instead of looking at it objectively and going, "Well, I'm not sure," you like automatically go towards any information that would point to the fact that the thing is real, not to the whole body of information. Look, well, how crazy are these people? When you meet the people that believe in Bigfoot, the ones that have seen it, the ones that have claimed to have seen it, almost all of them were clearly lying.
And a little like out of it.
There was one lady
on the spectrum.
Maybe, yeah, but just some people are just liars. They can't help it. They make stories up to make themselves feel better. Like they just crazy, and you can't really say it to their face because you don't really know. But sometimes it just gets ridiculous. And this one lady was one of the only ones that didn't seem like that. This one lady was telling me a story about how she was going through the woods, and she saw some big thing that was standing up, and it was like 7 feet tall, and it was moving through the woods. And she saw this thing, and she was like, "Oh my God, it's an ape." And then she realized it was Bigfoot. And she saw it for a few steps, and then it was gone. At the time, I was fascinated. At the time, I was like, maybe she really did see it. But now I know for a fact, an absolute fact, that where she lived, there's a lot of black bears. And black bears will often walk on their hind legs. They'll walk like Bigfoot. They really do. There's many, 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 many videos. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I saw a bear walk for several steps, like 6, 7, maybe even 10 steps
on its hind legs,
roaring at another bear, and they were going to fight with each other, and they fought with each other standing up. They went after each other.
Dope.
But dude, he walked towards him like that. Look at that.
That does look like Bigfoot.
Look at that. See that bear? This is a bear that had injured paws. And sometimes they'll get their paw bit off in a fight.
God damn.
They duke it out with each other, or maybe they get caught in a trap. You know, some fucking assholes that set traps out there.
So
for
they're
them
forced
too.
to walk like that.
They bite, they bite their own foot off to get out of a trap.
Damn, man.
That's real, man. They get wolves that way. They catch them in traps.
Jesus.
Traps are scary shit.
Hell
man.
yeah.
But these animals, when they get a hurt paw, they'll walk on their back legs like Bigfoot. So she probably saw some shit moving through the woods. Like,
Holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, they just stand there.
That's terrifying.
I know. And they can walk like that.
That's terrifying, but it's clearly not a fucking Bigfoot,
Right.
you morons.
No. See, you say that, but dude, I'm telling you, when you're in the Pacific Northwest, you cannot see 15 yards in front of you. Duncan and I were talking about it because, we had to hang out up there and go wandering through the woods. We're like, if there was something right there, like 5 trees away, and then it moved into the back, how long would it take before it disappeared? 2 steps? 3 steps? It's so dense, dude. It's like a Q-tip box. You know how you get Q-tips out of a box?
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
There's so many of them. There's no gaps in between these trees. Have you been to the Pacific Northwest? Like the rainforest
No,
up
I've
there?
never been in there. I mean, obviously drove through it,
It's
going to shows or
amazing.
some shit.
It's amazing. And here's the other thing about it. It's all pine needles, so that you don't even make any noise.
Yeah, but I would see a standing figure like that in my educated brain. I go, oh, that's a fucking giant bear.
No, because you'd be looking at a hill like 100 yards away, and you would see this thing walk through the tree standing up, and you'd be like, what in the fuck was that? And then it's gone. So then your imagination starts running wild, and your imagination starts filling in the blanks. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Am I high or not?
For sure you're high.
Well, then I'd probably think
You're
it's
in
Bigfoot.
Seattle, man.
Okay, then
why
it's
would you
Bigfoot.
not be high?
Yeah, I'm big.
You're
then
eating
it's Bigfoot.
mushrooms.
Oh, it's
you're
Bigfoot.
high as fuck.
Oh, I'm on shrooms?
Everybody up there's on shrooms.
Then that's a walking brown unicorn.
You're walking down this road in the forest, and you see something that's in the woods, and you see it briefly 100 yards away for 3 or 4 steps. Your brain starts filling in the blanks, and you get excited. You saw a fucking Bigfoot, and I will go to my grave knowing what I saw that day. And everybody wants to be special. So everybody wants to pretend they saw a giant monkey in the woods. But when you really talk to them, that was the only lady I knew that wasn't lying to me. She saw something.
She actually thought it was Bigfoot, but it was a standing.
If I had a guess, if I had some money to bet, I would bet almost 100% what she saw was a bear.
You did the show, and after coming back from that show, you're like, you know what, Bigfoot's bullshit.
It's the same feeling I got talking to everybody. Psychic readers, same feeling I got talking to UFO experts, same feeling I got to everybody wants to believe. Everybody wants to believe.
The UFO I can fucks with. The UFO makes sense to me. There's so many kind of X factors there where I can buy a UFO.
It could be real.
It could be real. Bigfoot, come on.
Here's the thing about Bigfoot. The reason why it's so attractive is because it used to be a real animal. 100%. It was a thing called Gigantopithecus.
Bring that shit up, Jimmy.
They didn't know about Gigantopithecus until I believe it was the 1920s. They found a tooth of this primate in an apothecary shop in China. And they're like, what the fuck is this?
Someone was selling it?
Yeah, they were selling it. And someone found another tooth. And they said, oh, there's another. And the primatologist who checked it out, that was a real animal.
God.
Yeah.
Dog.
8 foot tall, gigantic orangutan looking thing.
It still doesn't look like a human.
It was in the orangutan family. No, dude. It doesn't. Well, Bigfoot's supposed to look like that.
Oh,
That's
really?
what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like a human.
Well, I thought it was like a hairy human combo.
There's a photo of a man standing next to a proportionate man, the average sized man standing next to a Gigantopithecus statue. See if you can find that in there. I know it's in there.
Piccathis.
Yeah, that's it. That was how big it was. So that was a real animal, 100%. Now, they're not 100% sure that it walked on 2 legs, but they're pretty sure. And the reason why is the shape of the teeth. That animals that walk on their hind legs, animals that walk upright, have a different shape to their jaw. So that's what they found.
That looks like
they found a jawbone, and they found some teeth, and they found it like all in the same site. And then they realized that they're dealing with a totally different animal.
And he was around how long ago?
10,000 years ago. So this thing existed somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think that's right. Wait a minute, that might be wrong. I think I'm thinking of the Flores man. Was the Hobbit man, the little 3 foot tall dude?
Sure.
That dude was like 10, 14,000 years ago. That was really soon.
Yeah.
Like really recently. Definitely lived alongside people.
Not that
This might be 100,000. What makes it attractive, though, is where that thing lived is exactly where all the animals came across the Bering Land Bridge that connected Asia to North America. So this Bering Land Bridge was where they think everything came across. Short-faced bears, even people.